Hi, Roger Knecht, President, Universal Accounting Center.
And Andrew Argy here.
Hey, we've been getting a number of questions after the video that you've just watched, the webinar, and we wanted to take a quick minute and actually address them in this video because we thought it'd be the quickest and easiest way to get back to you and help you understand what we're hearing from everyone. Now, Andrew, there are basically a few questions about niches. Does anyone need to be in a specific niche to be successful? What's your comment to that?
Yeah, so you definitely want to pick a niche to be successful. But if you don't have a niche right now, that doesn't mean you can't move forward in the program. That doesn't mean you can't get started in growing your practice. But if you were to decide to work with us, then we would go through a process to figure out what niche you should choose. But you absolutely have to. I mean, think about it this way. Like, if you don't have a niche and you're trying to do marketing and grow the practice, like every single lead that you want to get in touch with, every single type of business owner you want to get on a conversation with, who are you reaching out to? Are you reaching out to owners of construction companies? Are you reaching out to CEOs of marketing agencies, doctors, dentists? And every day it's like a different group of people. You're never really honing in on an ideal client if you don't have a niche. So it makes lead generation really challenging because we don't know where to go.
Yeah.
And then after that, like once let's say you do sort of corral doctors, dentists, owners of construction companies together, well, then you actually have to do a consultation with them. Sit down on the phone or in person and walk through their problems. Well, the problems that the owner of a construction company has, it's not the same as a dentist, which is not the same as an attorney.
Yeah.
They're all different. So you're never really kind of fully understanding that problem. I'll give you an example. A lawyer, for example, they have some real challenges around accounts receivable and trust accounting. So they have to hold some of their clients' funds and they have compliance with the state that they have to uphold. Otherwise, they could lose their license. And that's related to accounting. And so, but that is very specific to attorneys. And if you're not familiar with that, that's a big piece of what they need. Now, that's also completely irrelevant for a marketing agency. So if you're talking to different people all the time, you're never really going to go deep, fully provide like what they actually need and get the highest price possible. So picking a niche is super essential from the consultation perspective. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with a low price and just be a number cruncher, not really providing value. So again, the leads, it's hard to, if you don't have a niche, you're just out there talking to all sorts of different people. When you do the consultations, then it's always going to be different. You're never really digging in deep. But where people really get crushed if they don't have a niche is when they actually get into providing the services. Because every single client's different. You've got a different chart of accounts, you got different accounting processes, every job is basically custom. So, but if you have a niche, you can have all the same type of leads that you're going after, a focused marketing approach, all the same type of consultations, a little bit different, but it's all the same. They're having the same challenges. You can start to see the commonalities, and you can start to expand your price as you understand them better and better. And then really where the real magic comes in and where you can really build a good practice is when you're actually delivering the services. You can start to build processes across your different clients, have similar chart of accounts, have similar things that you're doing rather than running around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to build a custom product for every person that you work with.
Exactly, and one of the things I'd add to that is when you're starting your practice, as I'm sure you've experienced, you're typically in a process of taking on anyone and everyone. So you become a jack of all trades, a master of none typically. And so when you're growing your practice and you're taking on these clients, yes, you're building your business, yes, you are generating more and more revenue as you grow, but what we're talking about here is becoming a more focused firm where you're going to be bringing in more profit, you're going to be able to target your marketing more effectively. But before talking to us and so forth, you don't have to have that niche identified. One of the things we can do is help you figure that out based on your experience, your background, your expertise, what you're familiar with already. I think it will become self-evident. What we want to do is obviously help you take that step though.
And that's really one of the first things we work on is, based on your experience in the past, like, what work experience did you have, whether that was in a job or another firm or with your existing clients? Like, what experience have you had? We'll go through that and figure out, okay, based on that, what could be your niche? And then we'll also look at what the market really needs, like who out there in the market is a good client. Not every niche is the same. I sometimes say that some niches are like taking candy from a baby, some niches are like taking candy from a sumo wrestler. It can be done. Right? But why would you necessarily want to choose something that's going to be harder just for the sake of choosing something that's harder? So we've gone through this. I mean, I've now worked with over 200 practices to grow, pick a niche. And so I've seen across all the different niches which are the easier ones, which are the harder ones. So we'll walk through and see what makes sense for you. But you got to have that foundation in place. Otherwise, it's never going to make sense with the leads, the sales, and the actual service delivery in the practice.
And when you work in a niche, one of the things that you'll become familiar with is the vocabulary of that industry. And you'll be able to talk more easily with those business owners because you're familiar with what they're doing at a more relevant level. The other thing with regards to niches, you have something I'm sure we can draw upon, but what we want to do is work with you to kind of pull that out and help you actually find what is your niche, what's special to you. The second thing that we've found that's common in the questions that have been coming in is, do you have to be a CPA to do this?
Yeah, this is probably like the biggest, probably one of the bigger lies in the whole profession. Is a lot of people say, oh, you have to have a CPA in order to be successful. And you know better than anybody, Roger, that that's just not the case.
Correct.
There are tons of ways to position yourself and to market yourself without having to say, oh, I'm a CPA. I know tons of non-CPAs, bookkeepers, people that have taken Universal Accounting's programs that hire CPAs. They hire CPAs. That's actually kind of a funny thing when the CPAs think, oh, you need to have a CPA, and then they're working for a bookkeeper who has their own practice doing $400,000 or $500,000 a year. So you absolutely don't need it. What you really need to understand is you need to know what you're doing. You do need to have specialized knowledge. You need to be confident over what you're delivering. That's a lot of what Universal does. They help people go through and figure out, okay, if I want to be a bookkeeper, how do I really know end-to-end what I'm providing? How do I really know end-to-end how to run the software? That's the professional bookkeeper stuff you guys do. That's the QuickBooks certifications you do. But really, you need that information, but you don't need a CPA license. In fact, I would argue that most of the time, what's in the CPA exam and having the CPA license isn't all relevant to what you're actually doing in the real world. What you need to have instead of a CPA license or any type of license is, whenever you're thinking about getting one, is this going to relate to business fundamentals? Is this going to relate to helping me grow the practice, generating leads? Is this going to relate to actually helping me close deals, doing sales? And is this going to relate to me running an efficient and a valuable service delivery model where people are actually going to want to work with me because I have specialized knowledge in something that actually works? So that's business fundamentals. And I would argue really, I mean, I'm a CPA myself, so I'm sort of uniquely qualified to say this. I don't think the CPA really helps people at all other than just sort of a flashy trophy they can brag about. But I got a little dirty secret. Most of these business owners, they don't even care anymore. They really don't care. They're much more concerned with, look, here's my business. Here are my problems. Do you understand me? Do you fully see where I'm at? And when you see that, can you help me?
Yes.
Not what is your CPA license? How many degrees did you get? They don't care about that. They want to know that you see them and understand them and that you're the person that understands their niche and can help them. So you absolutely don't need it going forward in the program, and you absolutely don't need it to be successful in your career
Correct.
whatsoever.
And I'll add to that a few things. One, there is a difference between the services that you're offering. Are you going to offer bookkeeping services, just up to and preparing the financials? Are you going to do the accounting where you're going to actually interpret, review, and analyze it? Or are you actually planning on doing audits? I mean, that's what a CPA does. That's the only thing they can do that the rest of everyone can't do is audits. But more, I think it's important to understand, small businesses, less than 1% of them will ever need an audit. So they don't need the CPA. It's an extra expense that's unnecessary. But the second thing I'd point out is when you're asked whether or not you have to be a CPA to do this, you're having to determine also what kind of services you want to provide. Do you want to do bookkeeping? Do you want to do tax? These things we can all help with and give you basically the support and understanding where the profit margins are, where the expertise can come in. But the long story short, your question, do you have to be a CPA? Obviously not. So here's the last question. Obviously, people are wondering, what is that next step looking like? Do they have to specialize?
Do they? And the other thing we've been asking is time. If
I
don't have the time, right? If I don't have the time, then is this really going to be something that I can do? Can I go into the next level firms? Can I work on growing my practice if I'm already got so much work going on with my existing clients?
Yeah,
that's what we've been
overwhelmed.
hearing. We've been hearing that like crazy.
Yeah, well, the point is you can find the time. What we can do is help you identify and prioritize what things you ought to be doing so that you can build your business.
Yeah, and one of the things you got to understand, for most people, they're so prioritized over what they have, or so focused on what they have, and they're not focused on what they need to go out to the marketplace and get. Sometimes I use the analogy that it's almost like someone's drinking a glass of water, and they're sitting there thinking about, okay, how can I conserve this? How can I make this the most enjoyable experience drinking this water? Maybe I should have a straw. I don't want to put too much ice. They're thinking about what they have that's right in front of them, rather than just going out to the fridge, getting the jug in, and refilling it with more. And really, when I think about you growing your practice, it's like, look, let's say you're making $100,000 a year right now. Let's say you get really good. Okay, I'm going to get things more efficient. I'm going to get the best apps. I'm going to get the Gustos. I'm going to get the Zeros. I'm going to get all these nice apps, and I'm going to get everything situated. I'm going to get the workflow management, right? I'm going to get it all situated. And I was making $80,000 of profit on my practice, and now I'm going to make 90, or I was making 70, and now I'm going to make 85. Okay, great, 10,000, 15,000, as opposed to just doubling or tripling the size of the practice, where you could earn an extra 100. You could increase your take home by 100%, 100, 200, 300%. So most of the time people are so focused on what they have, and I get it. You don't want to do wrong by the clients. I totally understand that, and you have to have that core there. But what happens most of the time is people are letting and you can tell me if this is in your situation, they're letting the clients take advantage of them. The fees are too low. You haven't negotiated what you're truly actually worth because you never really knew how to position yourself in that conversation. You never really knew how to dig down and make a big price a no-brainer with a business owner. And so you ended up just taking whatever you could get, and now you're getting crushed on service delivery. So you're not making that much money, but you're working like crazy. You feel like you need to hire before you even have a big enough business that you could even afford staff. And so what you really need to do is take a step back and say, what am I really doing with my practice? And I'm not going to lie to you. In the short run, I never recommend people get rid of clients until they prove to themselves that they can build a pipeline and they can sell at high value.
Yeah.
Once you prove to yourself you can build a pipeline and you can sell at high value, which, by the way, can happen in a matter of weeks. We've done that with people in Next Level all the time. As soon as you prove to yourself that you can do that, then you just, boom, you go back to your existing clients and you just triple the rates. And you do that, and some of them will leave, some of them will stay, but you're playing at a whole new level now. And you're playing on your terms rather than just taking whatever you can get. But in the short run, you're going to have to feel that time squeeze a little bit. You're going to have to work a little bit harder, just for a short period of time to break through and prove to yourself that you can do it, play at this higher level, get the higher fees, and then come back and restructure the existing clients. So I get that time is the problem, but that's never going to go away. You're going to have to feel a bit of a pinch in the short run and just make it work.
The one thing I will add to this is there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We can help with this process. We can help you actually become more efficient with your time and, more importantly, productive and profitable. So reach out. Obviously, there are 7 tricks to this.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you guys saw the webinar, like you've seen everything. Like if you've watched the webinar and then you've also watched to this point in this video, like you're obviously interested, right? So there's really no sense in not taking advantage of the free strategy session. You know, it's 45 minutes. I'll get on the call personally with you or somebody from my team. We'll walk through your exact situation. Is it some feeling that you have around not having a CPA license that's holding you back? Is it something related to not having a niche? What could be your niche? Is it the time aspect? And why is it the time aspect? Is it because of your internal processes, apps, and workflow? Hardly ever the case. Or is it because of the clients? Is it because you don't have the right clients? You haven't negotiated the right rates for yourself? So if you've stayed this long, you're obviously interested, just take advantage of the strategy session. And if it doesn't make sense to go forward in the program, hey, no big deal. Absolutely no problem. We'll go our separate ways, but you'll still get the free 45-minute strategy session walking through your exact situation. So I highly encourage you to do that. It's right below this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side.
Take the time, it's worth it. You'll actually learn a lot about yourself, and more importantly, it may actually get you to that next level. So
yeah, it could be, honestly, and we've heard this from people time and time again, it could be the most valuable hour that you take and set aside in your practice this entire year. So I highly encourage you to do it.
Yeah, pause, take a breath, and let's do this. Sign up right now. Take care.
Talk soon.